Welcome everyone to DFK Monday. Actually, it's not even Monday, it's Wednesday night madness. I'm so happy tonight to be joined by Brovia again. We're going to try to make this a tradition. And since Stick's intern wasn't on office hours this evening, thought I might as well come on and talk a little bit about what's going on in the crypto markets tonight, because it's a big night, boys. I mean, it's a incredible event that just happened today. And now we have confirmation, and it's going to be, wow, why don't we just cut to it right now? I mean, it is an incredible day in the markets. Let's take a look. The green bubbles are everywhere. Brovia, what do you think? What are we looking at here? 20% up across the board on most of these tokens today because of that Bitcoin ETF?
I don't see a single red one on the board, which is a pretty positive sign that good things are coming. So I imagine everybody's selling their kidneys tonight and selling their kids and getting ready for loading up tomorrow morning.
I was just thinking that you're channeling your inner crypto Grady like I typically do. Good to see you in the chat tonight. Big Grady himself, Dover himself, Dr. J, my man. I hope that you can come meet us at the Battle Mage Brewery. Sarge and I are going to go there this weekend. If you get a chance, DM me in Discord. But yeah, I just can't believe that, we saw the Bitcoin ETF. It got released, then it didn't get released, then it became a really bad kept secret. And now we know it starts trading tomorrow. The bubbles are green across the board. I have some really good feelings about the rest of this year, but it just started off with the bang. I'm so super excited about this. I mean, we've got all of the news right here for you guys. I'm sure that you all are aware as we are. I think I Am George did his big show tonight talking all about this, this Bitcoin ETF. And for those of you that answered my Twitter poll, by the way, it did start trading on Wednesday. So good guess. I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or later this year. And people that guessed Wednesday, dead on. All right. Yeah, baby. Anyway, what do you think? Is this going to bring the massive inflows of money, the normies into crypto? Is this going to be the watershed moment that we're looking for that says, all right, great, let the floodgates open and let the billions of dollars that BlackRock controls just come into the markets? What are your thoughts?
It has to be. You got the parents, the grandparents that don't want to get into crypto that now have easy access to getting into it the normal way that they do, and I think it's going to be crazy what's going to happen. I want to see the old God candle that everybody said. We saw a small example of that when the SEC's Twitter account may have been breached a slight bit, but definitely came back down rather quickly once it was confirmed it was an illegal post.
Yep. Wowee is dead on with his wowee comment. I mean, this is above triple S. This is a wowee moment. I think that this is one of those things that we're going to look back on and say, you know what? People that didn't know about Bitcoin or weren't familiar with it now have the opportunity to just get on their Fidelity app and buy it through the ETF. I mean, people who are in their 401ks right now and want to put 5% of their portfolio into Bitcoin now have that opportunity. These are the little things that I think really people should be looking at and saying, gosh, I thought it might be a sell the news moment, but I really feel like for the rest of this year, with the Bitcoin halving coming up and with all the catalysts that are on the horizon when it comes to the EIP 4844 proto dank sharding, which I always love to call it, although it's now called Denkun. I mean, we're going to talk about ETH fees going down tremendously, and the blob layers on Ethereum coming out. But this is just one of those watershed moments I think that we'll look back on and say, 2024, man, that was a great year for crypto. That's when Bitcoin went from 45,000 to what, Brovia? What's your guesstimate? We're looking at
Oh
December
man,
31st, 2024. What's the Bitcoin price?
we're gonna crack 100. That's my
Ooh.
that's my guess. We're gonna crack 100. We got a lot of old money ready to get into the new technology that they're all scared of, and by this happening, I think it's going to give them a little bit of ease to put some money in and see what happens.
I 100% agree. I think we're going to be over 100. I would actually say 120. So
Oh,
I'm looking at
nice.
120,000 here by the end of the year. I'm not going to say it's going to be that price at the end of the year, but I think at some point we touch that towards the end of the year. And then 2025, probably the first quarter, hopefully we start to see a run up like we did in the beginning of 2021. But history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. I'm excited about that. I think that this is going to be one of those things that, again, we look back on and we say, why did it take so long? I mean, did the government really hold us off, or was it big business, or did all the big boys just fill their bags now and say, okay, great, now that we've got ours, we can let it go up?
Oh, absolutely, they did. There's a slight bit of control there, and you know what? It's fine if we get some stability in the market.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I wanted to hit on, other than this Bitcoin ETF, is something that you brought to my attention last week. And I thought that everybody should know that there's a lot of really cool governance out there, including the Illuminati Council. I thought this was really neat. I'm glad that you did share it with me. For people that don't know, this is, Illuvium, how they govern their gaming project. And I think that DFK and other games too can learn from this and be able to take a look at this white paper and say, wow, these are some really cool things. You can find out the who, what, why, when, and how, and what goes on when it comes to everything governance inside of Illuvium. I didn't know much about Illuvium, and I read through this entire paper, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. You actually hire people, right, that come in there and they're counselors, and they get paid. I think it was $5,000, right? $5,000 a month to be an Illuminati counselor. I was like, that'd be nice, especially for people in DFK that want to be in governance. They could get hired in there, become I don't know what you call them, I guess the counselors, and be able to help run the game. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
The whole idea behind it, when I sent it over to you, was basically to sort of propose the idea of maybe let's getting on more using our governance. We have a lot of members in the community that hold large amounts of C Joule and S Joule, and they haven't had a voice as of yet. You have the confidence in them to hold the asset. They've locked it away for 3 years, but let's make a players council that has some more say and can help also give live feedback on the direction of the game. The community or the devs still make the game, but it gives more of like a connection to the players, and little things like that. There you can build upon it.
Right. Definitely. And I'm looking at the council breakdown right here, guys. Council members 5, you get to serve for 6 months and you get 5,000 USDT per month. So not a bad gig to be a member of that Illuminati Council. Appreciate the 4 DFK bloaters. By the way, the bloater meme coin did launch today. Longzai did launch his bloater meme coin. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter, but there is a coin out there now that's dedicated to the bloater. Thank you so much for that. Hopefully those things go up to the moon for that matter. But yeah, I guess if the cock inu token can go that high, then any meme coin can. So that's always cool. I'm excited about some of the different things that are happening though when it comes to like everything DAO. There were so many DAOs that got launched at ETH Denver, and all the different decentralized autonomous organizations that are now available, including like ones I had no idea were even around, like the Pizza DAO that was just like set for pizza, and there's different things that are out there. But are there any DAOs that you participate in that you're like, this is pretty cool, this is a cool concept?
I'm pretty much a DFK maxi, so I don't dabble in much else aside from that, and Bitcoin and ETH as far as assets, but no other real communities aside from those.
Yeah. Speaking of DFK, we're still on our 3rd day of the hackers having taken over the system. They've seized control now. Such a pain in the ass to deal with, guys. I don't know if you've ever had an account hacked before, but there's nobody to talk to at Twitter whatsoever, or X as it's called now. I was very shocked and surprised though when, guess what? The SEC was managed to get their compromised account back in a matter of about 16 seconds, it seemed like, when they got their account hacked, and that announcement about the Bitcoin ETF went out prematurely. So if they can get their account back in 15 seconds, then I guess there is a time frame involved with this, but we're just going to have to wait it out. Please don't click on any of the DFK information in X until that's done. And if you do get a chance, always tag security and support whenever you see a DFK post, and just let them know that it's been compromised and they need to suspend it until further notice. Ooh, 5.4 Jade as well. Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. One thing we have out tomorrow is the CPI, and that should shed a little bit of information too about how the economy is doing, what's going on. Any predictions you have about CPI or inflation? How is the inflation in Canada right now? Is everything still under control?
Inflation is quite interesting in Canada right now. We're having to deal with our Liberal government and very high taxes on carbon. So they're charging us like for getting our natural gas to our house, and we're getting bills for $60 in gas and $50 in a carbon tax. So we're having a little bit of a tussle with this right now, and it's not great. So there's a lot of people right now dealing with that.
The government always figures out a way to take their unfair share, right? So that's
Absolutely.
pain in the butt. Did want to announce to you guys that tomorrow's AMA is going to be held on the Kingdom Studios account. So make sure that if you want to join in on the AMA, you'll be able to watch it on YouTube, which I typically used to do. Now that I'm on it, I am going to join the X AMA spaces, which will happen at 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on the Kingdom Studios Twitter account. And everything will be posted in the Kingdom Studios account until further notice, until the DFK account can get returned to us at some point. The new visages came out today.
Already got my 3 pair, so I'm set.
I was pretty excited that SBD put this out. He's like, got the Blub, the Super Blub Defender. I was like, wow, the Power Ranger, the Red Power Ranger came out. What are
I
your
know.
thoughts on
I'm
this?
thinking. You notice how it says Super Blub Defender Red? I'm guessing we're going to get all the colors, and maybe you collect them all, you can make the Megazord.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't put it against the SBD to come up with something that's going to be pretty crazy. I mean, we haven't even hit the content creator Vizzies yet, guys. And, there's also 2 partnership Vizzies. If you haven't gotten your karate gi yet, that time is ticking down here as well. So make sure you get your karate gi, get some karate tokens, go out there and vote on Crypto Grady to win Karate Combat coming up here next month, or possibly March, whenever that's going to happen.
Hey,
But yeah,
KP.
yeah.
When that karate gi goes to countdown timer goes to 0, you guys got an immediate replacement, or is there a delay on that?
Good question. We have a couple partnership Vizzies that are, I think they're on standby right now. And so Sunbear is going to have some announcements and things will happen. And then we'll probably get that one announced. I think content creator Vizzy might come out first, maybe next week. And there should be a couple of other things that happen here shortly. So yeah, I mean, the alpha for this week, I'll announce it closer to the end here, but I think there's going to be some pretty cool things that happen here towards the end. One of the things that Brovia shared with me, which I'm always happy to get, and I do hope that you guys comment on this. Please like, share it, subscribe if you haven't already. But to you, Chippy, love you, brother. I'm glad that you sent Brovia this DM and he shared it with me. I'm always out there for the community. Want to make sure that you guys are getting the best up-to-date knowledge that you possibly can. Of course, I can only share so much now because I'm a privy to some of the inside information, some of the insider trading things that I can't really discuss at length, or I get in trouble as well. But I do love chatting with everybody, especially the people that are in the chat, the people that comment on all the videos. And if there's ever anything that you guys need, always feel free to DM me. I try to make time for everybody. So super cool with that. One of the things I wanted to bring up, which I think was really interesting, is chains, right? I mean, there's a lot of discussion about third chains, and I know that you talked about something before we get into this one right here, but what did you see on the Solana newsletter that came out yesterday?
Dropping a little bit of info there. In the Solana newsletter, they made mention that they potentially might be in the works talking about a third realm with DFK. And I don't know if that's hearsay or not. I don't know if you have any more info you want to give us on that one.
Thank you so much for the Jewel donation, by the way. And anybody that's using the donate 3 button, that's Two Noobs creation. Big shout out to Two Noobs in Thailand. And he's an amazing content creator and just person down there. They're creating that tool so that everybody in the community can share Jewel bloaters, jade, soon to be crystal, and other things. So as far as the third realm goes, I wanted to talk to you about that. Let's click over to just the DFK map so that we can see what's going on. Obviously, we've got DFK chain, we've got Crystal Veil right here that we know and love, which is going to expand, as we know from, Cabby hit some point when they pull back those clouds and we get lands and we get all kinds of things. But that third realm is always a big idea. And Dreamer's been talking to so many different chains out there, Sun Bear, Fox. I mean, when they were in Singapore, they were inundated with people that want to do things in different places. One of those being Solana. And so in Solana's game developer newsletter, quarterly newsletter that came out a couple of days ago, they announced, hey, we're talking to DeFi Kingdoms. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. But yeah, they did put it directly in their newsletter. So that was a pretty big deal. We're constantly talking to so many potential partners. Sun Bear and Strider are out there and they're pounding the pavement, talking to different chains and different people. And there's always going to be pros and cons to everything. But I think that at some point here, we should have an announcement to say like, all right, great, we've got a partnership agreement or we've got something that's in the works. And I don't know if it's going to happen this month or next month or the month after, but I'm hoping that they can at least announce something and be able to say, okay, we've made an agreement with XYZ. And I think that we're all looking forward to that third chain and getting those next two basic class heroes. And then obviously that fourth chain that probably won't happen, maybe for a while after that. Maybe we have another perilous journey. I mean, I think back now to the perilous journey that we did to get to Crystal Veil, and I'm like, oh my God, I still have somewhat nightmares from, putting my heroes on the boat for that week and just, knowing that half of them weren't going to come back, especially when heroes were $500. But are you excited about the third realm? What are your thoughts?
I can't wait to have more classes, just continue building that tree, right? And I mean, introducing players from, say it is Solana. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be, but say it is. There's Solana maxis in there that are going to be like, I'm only going to play on a Solana chain. So introducing those guys to a game that's been developed this far along already and so much more to go, it's an easy sell. Easy
Yeah.
sell. Come play, have fun. Community's been here a long time. We'll help you train. We'll show you how to summon. We'll give you advice. Just like Chippy, right? He's been around for 6 months to a year now, and he's now active summoning, loving it. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun to introduce new people to, to DFK, to get them in, to show them the heroes, to show them the pets, to kind of give them an idea of what's going on. It's cool. Shout out to you guys in the chat that just showed up. Sergeant Filthy McNasty, who I'm grabbing beers with this weekend. And obviously Oolong Swank Alpha giving us the CPI data as well. But yeah, it's so much fun to get new people into this. We talked about that, before the stream, and I love it when I can show off my heroes and get people in and get them summoning and get them excited about everything that people do when it comes to summoning. I did want to bring this up as well. I didn't even see this until it got brought up by Sashay today. There's been 260,000 heroes thrown into the pit, over 250,000. Can you believe that?
that's crazy. That's good. That's good.
I mean, I love all my heroes. I can't force them into the pit. It's just like when it comes down to it, I can't do it. I mean, I watched Be Easy and some of the mythic guys who are all about, throwing your heroes into the pit. And I'm just like, man, I can't do it.
You get emotionally attached to them, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, thanks again. 30 more bloaters. You guys are too generous tonight. But yeah, when it comes straight down to it, I'm like, all the bloaters, all the heroes I've formed personal relationships with. I mean, it's just like I feel like we're on a first name basis here with some of them, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, especially some of the rares and legendaries and mythics, I'm like, I can't see losing them. If I lost one of them, I'd be sad. I would just, I wouldn't be able, even the commons. I mean, a lot of times people are like, yeah, I just, I got a common monk. I'm going to throw him in the pit. I'm like, no. He's a good fisher. He can forage for you. Give him a chance.
I made a fun little challenge to myself. I bought a floor mythic summoner, and I told myself I'm going to level it up. I'm going to use crystals. I'm going to do everything right on this thing. It was a floor summoner mythic. It wasn't a ton of money. And that thing's at, I think, level 12 now. And I want to say he's close to 40 wisdom and int. He doesn't miss on a level up. And so, like, prime example, a hero that you probably would have pitted, if you're Mythic Squad, where I'm giving it a little bit of love, and that thing could be a contender in the future.
I think he is a contender. Yeah, I mean that's some of the PJ heroes that I've got back. Are now level 17, the commons, and I look at their stats and I'm like, they're still pretty good. I mean, I think that they still have got a chance in those land tournaments. But yeah, some of the commons I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you're not pulling your weight, and you're gonna be a professional quester forever. But other ones I'm like, yeah, I think you've got potential. I could pitch you up against some other heroes, and you probably hold your weight pretty well.
It's just hard to justify the Moksha runes, spending them when you get up that high. I just leveled up a legendary warrior Dark Knight PJ, and it was 4 Moksha runes, and like I'm the god, I think 5 points on the level up, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh.
But I posted it, and one of the guys said I didn't even realize I got like 110 HP, which is really good for that. But I just missed that when I was frustrated with the level up.
Yeah, that's always frustrating when you don't, when you get the single point level up, which we all have, guys. It sucks ass. You just want to, kick the screen through, but you get that one bonus point that you automatically get, and everything else misses. Oh Jesus, that's when you just, you curse the DFK team, which I'm a part of now. I get it, but yeah, you're like, I really wanted to keep this hero. I could see throwing a hero in the pit just off of that, blind hatred when you're like, 1 point, you bastard, you're going in.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it comes to third chain, guys, I thought this was kind of interesting because so we've got Ronin Chain, and you guys all know Ronin Chain got hacked, right? I mean, Axie Infinity, Ronin Chain got hacked for $650 million. Guess what? They replaced everybody's lost funds. Unlike the other bridge that shall not be named on the chain that DFK originated on, Ronin at least did the right thing, and they returned everybody's money. Now they've got pixels on there. Now their token has 6x'd in the last 2 months. And check this out. You can see some of these statistics. You'll probably recognize they look pretty familiar. I mean, 4.1 billion NFT sales, almost 500 million total transactions. Look at the addresses that they got on there. 14 million addresses. I mean, not all of those are going to be, active people like we know, guys. But I mean, say that they've only got half of that or a quarter of that. Say they've only got 3, right? 3 million total address. That's 3 million gamers that are playing Pixels or Axie or one of the other games that they've got on their chain. And this was the thing I thought was really informative. Look at this, guys. I know that all of you would be for that. Minimum cost per transaction, 0.0008 cent.
That's
Now,
dead sexy right there.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? It's like, who wouldn't want to have that nice gas cost every time you hopped in to do a quest or, do anything, right? It's just like, okay, if I'm paying a fraction of a penny, everything's basically free. I mean, yeah, after 8,000 transactions, you spend $1 or whatever, but that's what we all want in this game. And I was like, maybe Ronin could be a choice. What do you think? Would you support DFK's Third Realm being on Ronin right next to Axie?
I think, you know what, if you did give them some competition, because, the team's building a pretty bloody good game, and to expose people in Axie to this, or even the same chain for that matter, would be easy. Competition's great, and working together with them would be an amazing partnership. Can you imagine the partnership between them and like crossover? It would be awesome.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if just say 10% of their players defected and said, yeah, Axie sucks. They're going to go play DFK. Oh, okay. So instead of having 3 million, they've got 2.7 million. And guess
I
what?
like the speculating. This is
DFK
good.
DFK gains 300,000 players that are actively trading NFTs and playing a game. Hey, not too bad. I like Kurt's comment down there that Soul would be good. And, Eric said basically the Ronin token 6x. You can go check it out on CoinMarketCap. I don't have it up right now. Well, I think everything's 6x today. But yeah, it's been
Hard to lose money today, for sure.
It's been quite a run for Ronin. And I was pretty dead set that they were going to be one of those ghost chains. But actually, after Axie got everything situated and they got on the chain, they've got such a big war chest. I knew they'd be around. And since they did return everybody's money, nobody was really, worse for the wear, right? It wasn't like the chain that shall not be named, and everybody had to go and run for the hills because their stable coin depegged. And if you don't
Like
have a stable coin, you pretty
how
much have
wild is
nothing.
that? How wild is that they're still like mentioning that there might be a chance of you guys going back there? Like you see the random post in Twitter. How is that even an option?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that, there's I was listening to DCR today on his AMA on the Trader Joe Discord. I'm actually going to be on the Trader Joe Discord next week, guys. So mark your calendar. You don't have to, but I'm going to be chatting with the Trader Joe community for about an hour on AVAX Gaming and the DFK team. So that'll be fun. But DCR talked all about how Evoverses had to make a run for the hills because Evoverses was on Harmony as well. And they had to pack up ship and leave within a week, and basically got their entire treasury demolished as well. So there were so many other good projects, good people that lost out just because a chain didn't do the right thing. And not only did they not do the right thing, they didn't even return anybody's proceeds. They just kind of said, "There's nothing to see here. Look the other way, and please come back," which I just think is still such a bad thing. But I've kind of got mixed feelings on Runner, right? I've got that nagging like, oh, Axie's the best. We're the Axie, we're the number one. We went up to a $20 billion market cap. And then I think like, well, it would be so nice to steal half of your player base. That would be fun. And the only way we can really do that is if we're on Ronin, but not that that's a dead deal by any means. And somebody will probably quote me and say, okay, DFK is going to be on Ronin next week, but not by any means is DFK moving to Ronin. I just thought it'd be an interesting speculation to throw out there and say, is that even an option for the DFK community? I mean, make a comment. Let me know. What do you guys think? Is Ronin an option? Eric obviously says hell no. But who else? I mean, what's that? I mean, nobody else has any. I love that. Yeah, I don't even call it anymore. I always just say the chain that shall not be named because I don't want to give them any love whatsoever. So
Why don't you just throw in there another subnet on AVAX? Just another one.
That's an option as well. What do you think about that? I mean, it doesn't do much as far as marketing goes. It doesn't do much as far as player base goes, but it is, a safe option. It is an option. We could have another token out there and we know that it's going to run well and things are going to pretty much maintain themselves. I mean, do you think that's the best option or is it just an option?
I don't know if it's the best option, but I mean, you guys have such a good connection with AVAX already. Like, it would be an easy setup. And I mean, I'm not saying like it should happen, but depending on what happens with Clayton, I mean, if you had to say relocate it again, as sad as it sounds for the third time, even a temporary home for a year, and you put it on a subnet that you guys can like repair the name of it in a way, would be nice.
That's Dr. J's thoughts entirely as well. It's like, bring Sarandale back. I get it. I totally get it. I mean, we were
Nothing against
told one thing
Clay.
and got something different. I mean, the realm itself is awesome. I mean, it still has. I still reminisce, but it's kind of like that place that you moved out of, and you're like, yeah, I really don't want to go back to that, city, state, whatever it is, because it's not, it's not who I am now. I feel like DFK Chain and Crystal Vale is who I am now, and I'm like, I don't want to go back to that place that used to be, even though it does have the land and it's got a couple of things that I still miss. I still do like 99% of my transactions on Crystal Vale. Are you the same way? Or do you do anything on Sarandale right now?
I have fully removed myself from Sarandale before the depegging happened. I just lower gas and no other reason from that really. Like it's the same across chain, and I'm more bullish on AVAX than I am Clay. So I'd rather play on a subnet chain that's theirs, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then one of the nice things too, right, is it burns Joule. And I've talked to Zealous about that at length as well from DFK Helper. It's like, why would you game anywhere that didn't burn your own token? So yeah, I agree with that. That's kind of a cool thing. Starbucks saying that he's good with Ronin as long as the transactions are fast and the gas is cheap. I get it, guys. I think the same thing as well. I think that, if gas is cheap and everything is in play. And so here's my thoughts. And I think somebody else, I forget who it was in the chat, just put, it might have been the Mythic Squad again, that said, you go to the place where you get your fast food from the place where all the fast food restaurants are, right? And
Yep.
you see that when it comes to gaming too. You're going to go get your games in the place where all the gaming is. If that's the iPhone App Store, or if that's the Epic Store, or if that's the Ronin chain, or if that's the IMX chain, whatever it is, AVAX, right? You're going to go where all the games are. That's what people want.
But
Fast,
is
easy.
that true though, KP? Let's fire back a little bit on that. Like
Okay.
Solana chain, what do they got going on there for gaming?
Solana chain. Let's think about it. Solana chain has got the cheapest transactions by far, right? A fraction of a
Absolutely.
fraction of a penny, and they have almost instant finality. So they do what they can quote 1 million transactions per second or whatever. So that's their big claim to fame, is they want to be the fastest, the cheapest, the way to transfer money back and forth to anybody in the world instantly.
So if something like that happened, you obviously have your golden goose. Let's say on Ronin, you know that they're the golden goose, but
Mhm.
they don't. There's no golden goose, as far as gaming goes on Solana. So there's opportunity there to cement yourself. Similar to the first subnet on AVAX. You cement that, you pull it off, you do it well, you commit to it, and you've cemented yourself within that community.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grady, Dreamer, Bolon hopped on with Crypto Crow about a month ago and talked
I
about
saw that.
Cardano, right? The ghost chain. I mean, I don't want to call it a ghost chain. Cardano was the reason I got into crypto. I love Cardano. I always will. Charles Hoskinson is a savant. I mean, some people would call him a pretender, though, because of his days at Ethereum and a lot of things that have been reported about that. But the Cardano community is second to none. I mean, they are evangelistic when it comes to Cardano, and it's almost like a cult. But at the same time, they love it, and they would embrace, if TFK went to Cardano, they would just embrace it, right, as one of their own, even if it was on a bunch of other chains out there. And that's the thing too that I look at, is when you have a community that is that tight knit, that just is so evangelical, looking for anything they can get their hands on that works and is fun. Is that even an option? I mean, Cardano is it's crazy to me, but Crypto Crow has 200,000 followers that say, "Hey, come to Cardano, and we'll all jump in there and buy all your NFTs from you and play your game." What do you think about that?
I mean, the influencers have reach. We saw what happened with George, making that 20-minute video, the top three gamings that, DFK jumped up massively. So they have reach that they can actually, influence price action, and, influence people that follow them. If he says to do it, I'm going to do it. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. We just want more players that want to stick around, see the game through, get to that full gameplay, and just play it nonstop for years. That's what we all want.
Yeah, Dover makes a great point. I mean, Star Atlas is on Solana right now, doing tons and tons of transactions, millions of transactions, and
Yeah.
make Serendale great again. I mean, that's what we want, right? Make Serendale just the icon that we know that it is. I mean, I feel like Serendale is searching for that it wants to be that beacon. It wants to call to Web3 gamers, and it's like I keep looking at, like, God, where's the right landing place? Where's the right spot for this? It's like you want it to be that that emerald,
That slogan right there. Mythic Squad should be capturing that and make Serendale great again hats. I would buy one of those immediately.
Starbuck, you heard it. Get on the
Slap
merch.
a
Come
jewel
on.
token on that back of that bad boy, and I'd rock it.
Get on the merch train. Okay, guys, get yourself some Meg Serendale Great Again merch. Yeah, I'm super excited about, like, all the different things that people are doing, all the guilds that are out there that are doing your thing. I mean, from
Did
all the
you
guys, it's fun to watch.
did you happen to notice that the coin store's jewel reserves depleted quite rapidly in the last few days?
I
I don't know
think
if
that
you noticed that.
you bought them all up, didn't you? You were like, yeah, I really need
It,
50,000 more
wasn't me.
jewels.
It was some members that I know quite well that definitely wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah, we spoke to CoinStore tonight, and they have a finance department that buys open over the counter, and so you'll see that there'll be a fluctuation that happens, and it's usually in off hours, but they will change things around. And I know that our team monitors that constantly and what's going on. And their team, now that I understand it a little bit better, is also looking at it. They're the market makers. So the agreement that we have with them is that they do most of the market making for everything behind the scenes. We don't have any real say for that. But yeah, it is gonna
Are you guys
fluctuate.
still replenishing to them through the validator wallet?
No, we don't do any of the market making. So they do all the market making, and if you do out there and buy it, they will replenish it with their over the counter stock. I don't know how that works because it's an order book, so I'm not sure how the buying and selling portion of it works on their side. I know with when you look at places like Coinbase or Binance, they've got millions and millions of people usually on both sides of the transaction, the limit orders that want to buy or sell at certain prices. But I do know that they are the market makers behind that. We gave them the initial liquidity, and after that, they're making the markets.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So hopefully that it makes sense. But I agree with you. I thought the same thing. I mean, if you go out there and you buy 500,000 Ethereum, right, and they've only got 490,000 Ethereum on the exchange, well, then guess what? Ethereum price goes to what? Infinity, right? Because nobody can fulfill that order. But that's not quite the way it works. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
It'd be fun. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see. So I wanted to also get into some of the stuff that's coming up with different events that are happening. This was just brought to my attention today. I'm going to actually probably go there. So we had a little conversation around it, and I know that the DFK team wanted to have a presence, and since it's in San Francisco and I happen to be in San Diego, which is only a 45-minute plane ride or so, I probably will go up here. So if anybody is in the area for the Gaming Developers Conference in March, that's going to be really cool. And before we even get to this in March, well, I thought this was kind of fun because it's 4 days. I don't know if they're going to do 3XP again this year. That was the thing. And I was like, as long as there's a gaming developers conference somewhere, awesome. I mean, I'd love to go and hang out and see what people are doing, what's going on, what different chains are getting made. I think this is going to be super cool. We had kind of talked about, some of the things that are that you're going to be going to hopefully next year. And I thought this would be a kind of a cool thing as well. But yeah, that, and then we have ETH Denver coming up here at the end of February. And I know that a lot of you in the community are thinking about going or are going. Grady, Ogre, I think they're pretty much shoes in for that. Doug Hype he lives in Denver, so he's going to be there. Sargent and I talked about it, Brown Jen a little bit. What kind of conferences are you up for next year? Is there anything on your roadmap that you're like, yeah, I want to definitely go to this?
I made a resolution, one and only, was at least hit up one really good conference this year in 2024. And I was hoping 3XP would actually come again. And, you guys seem to have a hell of a time there. So that was kind of my go-to, but I'm honestly not sure. I'm not going to be able to make it across the ocean or anything to one of those other ones, but anywhere down in the States is probably totally fine.
Yeah, and if for those of you that want to go out to Salt Lake City, a beautiful downtown Salt Lake City for permissionless, Six Intern and I had a great time here last year in Austin. I was telling you before that I probably gained 20 pounds from the barbecue and bourbon that was had on the downtown 6th Street and everything else that we did. The after parties were awesome. The general admission prices here are incredibly cheap. And if you're a Bankless citizen, use my Bankless citizen code to get some money off. Get me a free hoodie. If you're not a Bankless citizen, become one. Bankless is by far my favorite place to get information, news, everything about crypto. $139, guys. I mean, that's one of the cheapest conferences. It's a 3-day conference, and it includes all the after parties. You can't even eat for $139. So yeah, it's definitely a good deal. Look at some of these speakers. I mean, this was the cool thing about last year was Eric Voorhees did the keynote, but Vitalik came on for an hour, talked all about what's going on with ETH. Anatoly came on for an hour, talked everything about Solana. Tom Emmers, this dude. I mean, if he ever ran, I think he did run for president, and nobody really cared because it's all about the establishment. But Tom Emmers, amazing. I mean, I feel awesome about Minnesota. I'm not a big fan about anything about really what's kind of, in that area of the country, but this guy is just a crypto advocate, loves personal freedom and finance. And I loved hearing that. And then of course, Hester Peirce, which is one of Six Interns' favorites. She talked all about, what's going on in the SEC. And finally, Gary, got us to where we need to be. But yeah, these the speaker list is just awesome for permissionless. So if you can only go to one, I would kind of think, well, ETH Denver was my favorite, but permissionless is right up there, close second. Cool place to go. Also, too, we might be looking at possibly doing a DFK event in Salt Lake City around the same time, since I think half of the team is in that general vicinity. Permissionless is coming up. It might be a good thing to look at, especially when tickets are so cheap, guys. Tickets.
Well, there you go. Now I know where my one and only event's got to be. When's DFK Con?
There you go. It might be on that Saturday. So I think this one goes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It might be on that weekend. I mean, I don't want to commit to it and say yes, definitely, because there's no firm plans yet. But I do think that we're going to try to at least do it. We'll do a DFK meetup. We did, we did that during 3XP, and I know that Sarge has reached out to the 3XP crew. I think Bolon's reached out to the 3XP crew as well. We haven't heard anything back, so that's a bad sign, because it was in May, and if it was going to happen, it probably would have already been announced. But yeah, the amount of different conferences that are out there is awesome. I think it's going to be really fun.
I wanted to go take a turn for you and ask you about the Visages when they came out. I don't know if you saw in general, a couple of your developer friends there were in there chatting it up, and I noticed something that maybe was slightly slipped out. I don't know if it's alpha drop or not.
What happened?
I was gonna put you on the spot. Hubert mentioned that he is getting very close on Bring Your Own Potions, and that all potions will be available on the next drop. Is that some alpha he accidentally slipped, or did I misread that? Or
Hubert doesn't let anything slip.
Well, Bolon was there, but I was trying to distract him as Hubert was on a lovely chat there. So
yeah, Hubert is he's very methodical at the way he does things, and I know that he's looked at different tokenomics and different things when it comes to the potions as well. I had a conversation in the background today about that, so a little bit of the potion crafting may be reworked a bit just to make more sense and be worth people's while to bring them into fights. I do think that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for BYOP to be brought on too soon, because Hunts V2 will hopefully be available here in the near future, and it might line up well together. Not that that's been determined yet or not, but that probably would be. It makes sense, right, to have those things kind of rolled out at the same time. I do know that they're close. I mean, it's in testing. And so, I know Beetle's been hard at work at things. God, that guy is tireless. I see the GitHub commits that come in on Sunday evenings at 10 p.m. And I'm like, holy crap. So, between Beetle and Typical and, Dr. Zipper too, a lot of the times those guys they're constantly working on stuff. It's just, it's amazing for me to see how diligent they are at putting these upgrades together. And I know everybody's excited too. It's like, we got our first hunt and it's fun. I mean, I like going out there and killing the boars, but I think V2 is going to be fun. And we've also put a couple little tweaks and twists into it that are going to be much, much more interesting. And then, Workhorse has been on several podcasts where you've heard from him about how maniacal he is when it comes to the game mechanics, right? He's just he's constantly looking for ways to tweak things that just throw off everybody. And I think this one's going to be, from what I've seen, I mean, I haven't played it yet, but it should be fun.
I can just see it killing you. You want to tell us, but you can't.
I do, guys. I do. It's fun. I mean, and then after talking to some of the pixel, like Cabby, the pixel artist, and being able to chat with her about what she's working on and see some of the renderings, it's just like, wow. It's fun. It's fun to see all these really cool things that are happening inside the community. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the potions, there will be some changes. There will be some reworks. Hubert's got the master game plan in place. And I do think if it doesn't come out at the exact same time as Hunts V2, it'll be almost identical because, yeah, they kind of want to make sure that things are matching up together. And why have it be a case where for some point the potions were free and then all of a sudden you had to bring your own. So, but I do think it's going to be worth it because there's going to be some really cool things that are going to make you want to win the matches, want to win them a lot more than you probably did. Although, yeah, I mean, God, there's so
Talk
much that's
about
getting worked
dangling
on
a
in the
carrot. Give us a
background.
little piece of bite of that carrot.
Yeah, it's like,
Nobody's watching. It's okay. It's just
yeah,
me and you. You know, let's just chat about that.
exactly. I'm sure half the team is up right now. I mean, before I jumped on with you, we had a really good conversation with some guys in Japan, that Sunbear's working on a relationship with to get us into their guild and to form that relationship over there. And then before that, we talked to Singapore. So it's been a long night, and I know I always hate to bring this up, and Stick's intern held me to it last week in Discord. I was like, God, tomorrow's Thursday, another freaking AMA already, because it seemed like these things come up so quickly, and that was one of the reasons that I was drawn to DFK. Is I was like, okay, they have an AMA every week, but now that I'm on the team, I'm like, yeah, we have an AMA every week. Oh, Jesus. So it's another couple of hours of getting together, getting everything organized, making sure that we, listen to the community's questions. Make sure that you get your questions in too. I mean, Bolon and Hubert and everybody, Fox and Dreamer, they really pay attention to them. And, everything's discussed ahead of time and after about, what the community feels like. And even though it's not, the total Illuvium, DAO and council, it's still a big deal. And I know that they wanna listen to everybody and make sure that the community is being heard. And I thought that one of the coolest things was the whole conversation around the Vizzies, when Stick's intern brought up all the legal arguments, and then the team got in there with the attorneys and discussed everything and basically said, this is what we can do. And it came out to hopefully everybody's benefit. And that's the part I love, is that they're not just sitting there going like, oh, this is what we're going to do. They listen. And that's really what you want in a project, right? It's just somebody that's going to listen to you and take your opinions into account when every decision's made.
And on the last stream, I was asking you about the limited edition of each of those Vizzies, and kind of it was sort of flip flop because Bolon kind of backtracked a little bit and said we might be bringing them back here or there. But I did see Hubert chatting in Discord, and he said no, they are limited. You guys voted on it in the tokenomics committee or something like that. So once they're off, they're off. Is that
Yeah.
actually official?
Well, definitely for the karate gi, right? Because that's karate combat, and that one's going to be the 3 million karate tokens that are dropped. And with most of these partnerships, they're going to have something tied to them, like a token drop or like another NFT swap, or benefits like that. So even though the gi I think is a little bit more expensive than the other ones, that token drop, like karate token's gone up a ton, guys. I don't know if you watched, but I had a really good conversations with the Karate Combat, the Influencer Fight Club people that were at the event in Las Vegas, George's event. They're extremely bullish on this karate token, and I'm starting to get more bullish about it. I don't really like to buy things just out of the blue that don't have a whole lot of utility other than me voting on Crypto Grady and Dreamer to win. But I was like, this is cool. I mean, you guys are getting a share of 3 million karate tokens. So each gi that you buy is going to get you a portion of whatever the total sales are. So I mean, you might get 5,000, 10,000. I don't know how many tokens you're going to get, but the token the last time I looked was at like a 4, almost 0.004. So call that, let me see, if you get 5,000 tokens, that's $20. So you're actually getting your money back plus some. I mean, I don't want to throw that out there because it might not be that much, but it might be, you might be able to buy something for next to
It's an
nothing,
easy
or
sell right there.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, you're right. These Vizzies are, they're one time. So when it comes to these red, I don't want to call
So
them
it
Power
is that
Rangers.
way. So once their timer counts down, you're out of luck.
Yeah, the super blub suits. That's what I mean. I think everybody's going to call them Power Ranger suits, just like the bloater suits. But yeah, you've got 2 weeks for these guys, and then they're gone. I mean, that mask that was just there, the cool mask, that was a 1 weeker. I mean, that was really quick. That was on off. That was on and off before I even got a chance to buy one. I was like sad. I went on
And
and I was
what's
like, oh, Power
it's
Rangers are here. Okay.
it so far has looked the absolute coolest. I want to get
Yeah.
some like sort of black cloaks or something, and then put that other mask on it. It looks sick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, a lot of people are going to look back on these vizies and go like, God, I didn't know you had a red Power Ranger. That's my favorite Power Ranger. I'll spend, X amount on getting me one of them. So yeah, I don't know which one of these is going to be the hot one, but at some point in the future, you're going to be like, God, I look back on it like, I bought so many Star Wars action figures when I was little, and I played with them until they broke and then I threw them away. And now Star Wars action figures that are in their box are worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm like, oh my God. If only I'd
Oh,
kept those things.
I had He-Man when I was little, and played with him, all that thing. Had him in the attic since I was an adult, and brought him out, and like, oh, I should sell these things, and cleaned them up, and I made $850 on old He-Man that I played with as a kid. So things are still collectible.
Definitely. I did want to invite everybody out if you're in SoCal. I know that some of you can make it, some of you probably can't. Sergeant put in the chat earlier, 1 o'clock on Saturday. We're going to go hang out, drink some beers at the Battle Mage Brewery, which now has become one of my, well, probably my second favorite brewery in San Diego, but it's super cool. Tons of like action, not action, but role-playing games are out there. You can, play Magic the Gathering or any number of like different things. It's in Carlsbad, East Carlsbad, and kind of a nondescript strip mall, but super cool place. You can see the Twitter post that I did when we did the last DFK meetup, and Bolon and Sarja, I hung out there and had really good beer. I mean, amazingly good beer, and just chatted for a while. So we're going to do a little mini DFK meetup if any of you guys are around. Super cool. What about up in Canada? Any cool places that you guys hang out? Do you guys do any DFK stuff up there?
There's not many of us DFK players up here that I know of. Me, Blako DeFaco, we know each other since we were young, and I know that the closest ones to in the States is Mosh and Beeve. They're down in Seattle, and they don't realize yet, but on one of these trips, we'll just drive to Seattle, and then they'll be driving to the meetup. So just a heads up, guys.
Yeah, Sarge is asking me, wait, what's my favorite brewery? Stone, Liberty Station. That's my favorite, Sarge. I like that, going out on the patio, hanging out, and getting bombarded by all the airplanes flying over. But the beer's amazing and the food is great. So, but Battle Mage comes in a close second. I'll give you that. Anyway, yeah, that does look like Bull on Two Noobs. Bull on with his blonde braided beard. That's super cool.
Yeah, he's just not holding a Mountain Dew. It's the only thing that's missing.
Awesome. I did want to make sure that you guys know that we're going to probably do well, I think that you got the approval, right, from the significant other, and hopefully the women of your life, the girls, that Wednesday evenings we can meet at around this time and have a good DFK discussion. I want to invite anybody else on too that wants to come on, chat about DFK. This Monday, I'm going to have Pieface on, so she can talk all about content, what's going on with that. She's the manager of everything when it comes to that. So Poppy and Dragon Tea and all of those fun content creators and what they're doing. But yeah, I love getting together with you on a weekly basis and talking about everything, including current events. The Bitcoin ETF, as we know, is going to do wonders for everything crypto world right now. But there's so much else that's going on. I know we all want Jewel to shoot up to the moon. So, that's going to be really cool. The crypto bubbles, as far as, ooh, wow.
Holy crow, yeah.
Plus 44%, plus 20, plus 33%.
I gotta go buy some more stuff.
Yeah, other than the stuff that's in in DFK, what are some of your favorite projects that are out there right now?
I like I said, I echo it again. I'm mostly in DFK. I unfortunately was trying to start into Dragon's Crossing, but I hear they may have packed up shop and didn't last. And I feel bad for those fellas. I hope they come back and come back in the DFK community where they're welcome with open arms.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I love Sandwich Punch. He was a good friend. We talked about different things at length. Very smart, very considerate, just an all around amazing guy. I loved watching, their podcast, even with Bloater Punch and Baby Punch, and They're just they're good people, and everybody wants to do the right thing and feel like they're doing a great thing when it comes to crypto. And I always want people to go out there and try. Go ahead, try it. I mean, you never know. It might be an amazing success, but a lot of times these projects don't go well, and it just sucks. So I've been working on the dark market, for it seems like forever now, but it's probably been like 4 or 5 months, and we still hit all kinds of little snags. And I'm getting closer, but I'm not quite there yet. I did want to shout out Starbuck for his Seattle meetup next month. I tried to get up there this month just so that we could do a meetup, but get together with a Mythic squad. Those guys are always doing big things and putting out great content and great merch as well. I mean, I think we should get the Make Serendale Great Again stuff going, guys. Ooh,
That's
Blake DeFaco. Hey, good to see you, brother.
there you go.
Brovia is a sexy beast, and to all the Canadians out there, a huge shout out. I mean, all you guys are awesome. Everybody around the world. I mean, it's fun to meet with people, especially in different parts of the world that I would have never thought were DFK fans, and get a chance to see what they're doing. Yeah, I'm excited about a lot of these different projects. I know that you guys probably know about them because I talk about them a lot. The airdrops content is getting tons and tons of views, and so I know a lot of content creators are out there doing that. I will probably make some more airdrop information for you guys that are interested. Cosmos airdrop is the easiest place. You can go out there and stake Atom or Injective or Celestia or Kuji or Osmo and get airdrops directly in the Cosmos ecosystem. I do know too that we should probably bring this up. I don't know if we've talked about it yet before, but let's bring this guy
KP,
up
you're
here.
gonna have to make a real simplified version of that airdrop for some of us guys that don't do a lot of those airdrops, eh?
Yeah, yeah, I will. I'll make it super simple so that you guys can just go out there and stake. I mean, it takes probably about $300 or $400, but if you've got $300 or $400 and you want to throw it into a couple of stake pools, a couple of validators, you'll probably see that much, if not more, come back to you from the airdrops that they do in the Cosmos ecosystem. So that's what's really cool about it. And there's plenty of others that are out there. East doing a ton. Eigenlayer, which is the big one. If you go stake an Eigenlayer, so if you just go out there with your Ethereum and you get some staked ETH and you stake it in the Eigenlayer protocol, you'll probably see an Eigen airdrop at some point here in the near future. So anything that you're interested in, go out there and try it. And this is one that you'll probably see an airdrop with at some point in 2024. And I don't think that you and I have talked about it before. I talked about it with Poppy a little bit. I talked about it with some of the other people, but Mythic Swap, when you've got a guy like George, with a guy like Dreamer, so you've got like the beauty, and then you've got Dreamer on stage. It's just like, how
Finish
can
your
you go wrong,
sentence.
right? But yeah, these guys. I mean, they're putting this Mythic Swap together. I don't know if you guys know too much about it. I mean, I've obviously seen the some of the stuff behind the scenes. I think it's probably all public now because they're trying to do fundraising. But the papers that are out there are pretty interesting because it brings in some SocialFi aspects to it. There's some gamification to it. The nice thing is that, and I don't think I'm not sharing anything there that's not public, is that there'll be a way for crypto people, the people that are influencers, and George being one of them, to put together lists of tokens. And this is, I think, one of the goals. And I don't want to be held to it, so not 100% sure, but you'll be able to put together a list of tokens, and if people go out there and buy your list, you'll get a portion of the fees. So it gives crypto influencers a way to say like, hey, I love these 17 tokens. And you can be like, oh shit, I got to remember these 17 tokens and go out there and buy them myself. Or you can go into Mythic Swap and say, oh, George's tokens. Boom, buy those. And George gets 0.1% of whatever the transaction fees are, right? So I'm like, that is genius. These guys are, I didn't think of it. I wish I did, but I mean,
That's
it's a
really
very,
smart.
yeah, it's cool. I was like, all right, these are some of the things that should be done. I don't think it's secret sauce, and I don't think that anybody will probably get, too much alpha from it. But I do think, like, if you're going to put together a DEX or a swap, you should do something innovative. And
But there's a lot of people that don't have the time to chase out all their tokens they're wanting to follow, and they've got a couple of good content creators that they're like, I trust this person. I'm going to follow him a little bit. I'm not going to put the house on the line here, but throw some money in, and if he's doing it, I trust him.
right.
Kind of go with that. So it's a quick way to look at what they're investing in or
Yeah.
trading or swapping.
Yeah, and I think that like with Mythic Swap as well, it does give a way for the team to benefit people that are in DFK right now. So there will probably be little different aspects tied to it. With most airdrops, there's, you've got criteria that you need to hit. And, I think that some of them are probably is like Jewel and, heroes or lands or something that has a effect on how much of an airdrop you would get of mythic tokens. So I'm like, oh, cool. And I don't think any of the criteria has been determined yet, but it would be nice to say like, okay, if you've been in DFK since 2021 and you've been a long time holder of all these tokens, okay, we're gonna award you with mythic. And the nice thing about the airdrops as well is that if you don't claim them, like you can give a claiming time frame of like 30 days or something. If somebody doesn't claim them, then they go back to the people that did. So if the people aren't in the project, they got in and then they got out at some point, well, yeah, they might be, they might get an airdrop for 1 million tokens, but if they're not there and they don't collect them, well, that 1 million gets split up to everybody else that is
That's a
still
good
currently
idea.
there. Yeah, so that's what Celestia did. I wasn't even aware of that. Like on Cosmos, if you staked in Cosmos, Celestia did an airdrop, and if you didn't claim your Celestia tokens, they took all the ones that weren't claimed and gave them to all the people that did. So some people got a huge, huge share of Celestia. I mean, like tens of thousands of dollars just because they staked at them. So I'll create some more content around that, like you said, though, and hopefully get people into there. And the nice thing too about DFK is that the layer 0 airdrop is coming up, and if you guys have bridged anything from Serendale to Crystal Vale or back and forth item wise from your inventory, that's using the layer 0 bridge. So you should be qualified for that, and you might be able to go claim some layer 0 tokens as soon as that airdrop becomes available. So that's nice as well. Gen 0 airdrop. I love that too, noobs. And Starbuck, I think the Mega Force Vizzy, talk to SBD. I mean, the guy is a genius. He can come up with anything. I think that Mythic Squad, I would think that every guild at some point will probably have some Vizzies here. I mean, how could you not go into battle with, your purple hoodie? I mean, it's going to happen, right? It's got to happen. So although, SI will go into battle with his bloater suit because he sticks intern and that's his thing, but everybody else will go in with their purple Vizzies. Brovia, anything that you're excited about here? Anything that's coming up that you're like, hey, this is cool?
I think tomorrow morning we're all going to wake up and see some more green. And whenever it's green day, it's a happy day. So everybody will not be complaining. There'll be no FUD, and we need some of that. We last year was kind of crappy.
Yeah.
So, we need this to happen and to, get some more validation about crypto as a whole and what's going on in the market. It's here to stay. So I'm pumped about this announcement.
I am too. I mean, I felt like this was the one thing that we really needed was government support, right? And now with Bitcoin being the first one, you guys all know that ETH's next. It's probably going to happen at some point this summer. The ETH spot BTF will be there, and then ETH will be the next one, and then it'll probably be Solana or something else that comes out. But it just allows so much more inflow of funds to come into crypto. And when people get into Web3 and they see that they can custody their own assets, it's just the first step. It's like getting your money into a bank. People who are smart don't leave their money in the bank account. They go into the investment side, right? They go into all the different annuities. They go to stocks and bonds. They go to whatever they can get their hands on to make a higher return. Well, that's the way it's going to be with crypto. I see that being the same thing. But my line to people is always get some of your money. Doesn't matter how much, 1%, 2%, 5% out of the traditional financial system. Doesn't matter. The banks are not in it for you. They're in it for themselves. They take your money, they leverage it, and they use it to try to make as much money as they possibly can. Don't let them do it anymore. Put your money into stake ETH. Put it into Eigenlayer. Get 10%. Plus, you're getting some ETH. It's probably going to go up in value. It's fantastic. It's a win-win for you guys.
Protect yourself because nobody else is going to do it.
Yep. I always like the fact that we're here for the long run. As far as Starbucks goes, I love you, man. I know that you're a banker. I always think about that when I'm telling people my banking
Get a new
situation.
job.
No, he's the guy behind the guy. He's a smart, thoughtful, very very cool. And I don't ever like to disparage anybody because I always know that some people are out there doing different things, but I do always want to get at least some of your money out of the traditional financial system and into whatever it is, whatever project it is that you like. I mean, look at all these green bubbles. Pick one. Do some research. Figure it out. Does it make sense for you? Even Hex I see up there plus 24, although people hate that. I don't know much about it.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's tons of things out there, guys. Pick one, run with it. Any final parting thoughts here before we call it a night?
Go buy yourself some new Power Ranger Vizzies.
Love
Slap
it.
them on your heroes. We'll see you in duels in the next season, which will be coming out very soon.
Duels S season 6. Oh, a little bit of alpha. I wanted to drop this before we end. For those of you that made it this far.
It's time to drop some alpha.
So I was having this thought, and this is just my own thought. It's nothing with the team, but Fox has been so amazing with duels from the time they came out to the time they are right now. And I know that a lot of you guys love duels and you play them all the time. Me, I'm not being one of them. I'm not a big dueler. I love the hunts, but I'm not a dueling person by any means. But after I've been watching the duels now for season 6 especially, I'm like, man, this is really cool. There's items, there's, your pets get involved as well. And there's all kinds of different stuff that's going on. And there's going to be more randomness involved with it. But I'm just like, it's such a prelude to me to how all the battles are going to be, right? I mean, it's like Fox has iterated 6 times, and Fox is incredibly smart and just, very, very well thought out, like Hubert, right? Like most of the people on the team, like all of them are just like boom, boom, boom. Then they see things, they make them happen. I'm just like, wow, he's iterated 6 times. It's number 7's coming up. And all of these things that have been happening along the way are just like, oh, I'm sure that's going to be incorporated at some point. Ooh, I like that's going to be incorporated. And just how Hubert said, like, oh yeah, these now the combat engine's out, now it's just iterations on it, right? And that's like, now I can do things. I can create these different battles. I can create dungeons. I can create, all these little things. I'm so excited to see those 2 worlds merge. What I'm talking about? Where you've got like, oh yeah, these duels that have been happening forever, which is kind of like war still. It's just like smash them against each other, see who wins. The biggest guy's going to win, the guy with the best stats or whatever. That's fine. But all the little tweaks that have been put in there with the pets and, all the little things, and then how the potions are going to come into play, and then how all these other, I'm just like, wow, okay. I am starting to see
between the lines, guys, what KP's
more
saying.
of the grand plan. Yeah, more of the grand plans start to come together. But yeah, I'm digging it more and more as I get into it. And I've barely scratched the surface here myself, but I just thought I'd end on that note for you guys that made it this far. Always make sure to smash the like button, share this too, and I'll end with this. Huge thank you to everyone in the DFK community. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you've smashed that like button and subscribe to the channel, but most importantly of all, share this video with other people that you want to bring into DeFi Kingdoms. And when our community gets larger, we all win. Until then, go out and get yourself some more Jewel and enjoy playing DeFi Kingdoms.